He sends his regrets that he can't be here, but he was scheduled to work and was unable to change that schedule. And some of you know Bill, some of you don't, but I'd like to tell you that he is a businessman that has been involved in this community. He was here as the manager of our Pizza Hut for a while. He's been very active with the Red Cross. He was here in 2009 after the ice storm. He's mother and sister live here. He's was born in Caldwell County, went to Caldwell County High School, and played sports for Caldwell County. And I'm sitting in for him tonight because he couldn't be here, and they were generous enough to allow me to give his answers for you all. And if you have questions, then I'll be happy to turn you into how you can reach Bill, but I can only give you the answers that I have that he's given me. Thank you all for coming, and thank you all for having the forum.
Shall we just continue? Okay. I'm Ellen Dunning. I think most of you know who I am. I am the current judge executive. I was born and raised in Caldwell County. My parents were born and raised here, as were two of my three siblings. My husband is from Colorado, but his roots run deep here in Caldwell County because his parents were from here also. But our children were raised here, born here and raised here. I graduated from Caldwell County 50 years ago this month, and am so glad that we're going to be able to celebrate that this summer, our 50th class reunion. That sounds really old, but it's not. And I graduated from Georgetown College with a Bachelor of Arts, and then Murray State with a rank 1, and with a Master of Education and a rank 1. Studied several different places during my education, but am glad that I was able to study and work in Kentucky and come back to Caldwell County. That's about me. If you want to talk about anything else about me afterwards, I'd be glad to talk to you.
Hi, my name is Tracy Turner. I'm running for judge executive position. Some of you may know me from being head technician at Rogers Veterinary Clinic. I've lived in Caldwell County for about 10 plus years. I'm from South Florida. My husband, David, is originally from Kentucky here, and we have our daughter, Lauren. She's in her second year of pre-law at Murray State. I have a strong, my education and background is in financial and business management. I have 12 years veterinary medicine background, including specialty care in veterinary medicine. My objectives here are to support our local law enforcement, our emergency services, support and promote small business in our community, and keep our local revenue in Caldwell County. I want to advocate for our animals as well as our residents and the less fortunate in the community. I want to also support, provide extra support for our groups and organizations that benefit our residents here.
Hi, I'd like to say thank you for the ones putting this on. I'm Rick Blackford, a lifelong resident of Caldwell County. I started working for my father when I was 12 years old. I learned from him how to manage money and talk to people and operate a business successfully. After his retirement, I continued my 25-year career in restaurant management and then worked in the transportation industry, including teaching and driving until I retired almost 3 years ago. For the past several months, I've been out talking and listening to the concerns that our citizens have and learn what they expect from me and each county office and department. My goal is to make the office of judge executive open and transparent and to work with all county departments to be more responsible in keeping our county government running on a balanced budget as smoothly as possible in a professional manner. I'll also work closely with law enforcement on the ever-growing opioid and methamphetamine epidemic, also increasing safety for our families through training seminars for everyone and more police presence in our schools. This will be a challenging job, and I'm ready to accept the challenge. It's time for Caldwell County to move forward. It will be an honor and privilege for me to serve in the city of this county under next Caldwell County.
I want to thank the folks that put this together. I certainly want to thank you all for caring about what's going on in Caldwell County and coming out
hard to get folks to come out and participate a lot of times, so it's very important that you get educated before you vote. I'm Philip Sisk, and I'm running for Caldwell County Judge Executive. For the last 7+ years, I've served as magistrate in District 4. I've got more time on the fiscal court and more state training hours than all the candidates combined for this office. In almost 8 years of serving, I've made many friends and working relationship with state elected officials and county judges and magistrates across our state. When you go to requesting funds, whether it's road money, grants, discretionary funds, or just support, these contacts are crucial. They have to be able to put a face with a name. Our county has received several millions of dollars since my time in the court. Money for bridges, roads, grants for wildlife farms. But fiscal court must work together as a team. Everyone has to be informed on all matters. Lobbying together for the same goal has a lot louder voice than any one person. We must update our county policies and grow our jobs and economy to move to the future. I work for you, the taxpayers. The office will be open, and I'll be in that office to serve you. I expect and I appreciate phone calls. Every person deserves to have their questions answered. I will stand for what I believe to be the right choice. This is not a popularity contest. It's not a party vote. It's a vote to move our county forward. Interacting and working with the public on a daily basis has been my life. I have the desire, training, and experience to fulfill the duties of Judge Executive. Thank you.
I guess I'm supposed to read question 1, and that's what I'm going to do. Do you believe that the animal shelter has been managed in compliance with state law and Caldwell County Fiscal Court policy? What changes, if any, would you make to the management of the animal shelter? I'm answering for Bill, and this was his answer. I believe that the running of the animal shelter may fit the letter of state law and policy locally, but also feel it can be done better. Whether it would require, and it may, a change in personnel, I would encourage the use of the volunteers that want and have been so instrumental in getting the animal shelter up and running. It is a win-win situation to use volunteer help with the animals, as it keeps them in constant contact with people and socialized, so they are a better fit for permanent homes. Even though it is said that cats are free roaming, the local cats have been cared for and sheltered by a citizen of our county, Linda Crenshaw. To me, they are no more free roaming just because they have been homeless and feral because their ancestors were wild than dogs who are descended from wolves and other free-roaming creatures. Yet they are being held at the local shelter until they are adopted or sent to be euthanized at the Christian County shelter. It is my desire to give every animal a chance for a forever home, and will do my best to see the right people are in the right place to make that happen.
Okay. The animal shelter has been managed in compliance with state law and fiscal court policy. When necessary, minor changes have been made to accommodate the public, such as summer hours, days of operation, etc. At present, we have an animal control officer, 2 part-time animal shelter worker employees who care for the animals as well as help maintain the grounds and the building. And there's also a clerk who we have been able to pay through the PACS office in the PACS senior program in Hopkinsville. She answers the phone and helps with clerical items. We have a devoted volunteer who helps with getting animals into foster programs, and we certainly appreciate that. I foresee little change in the day-to-day operation of the shelter. The animal control officer will continue to handle the pickup of strays, emergency situations, and etc. And he works with the local police and sheriff's department in doing this. He does not have the power to enforce ordinances other than those of the county. Only Caldwell County animals may be picked up, accepted as strays or releases, and proof of residency must be shown so that we know that these animals do come from Caldwell County. Animals are kept longer than the prescribed days to assure that they have ample time to be returned to their owners or to be opportunities for local adoption. Our present animal shelter has been in operation for over 5 years. It's never been adequate for the amount of animals that we get in there, but especially cats. When the shelter was built, there was one small room provided for cats. It did not have adequate ventilation, it did not have adequate room, and there were no place for enough cages. So that's when Linda agreed to help us with the cats, because she was already taking cats at that time. We were having disease that was running rampant through the cats because of the small quarters that they had and the lack of ventilation. In the last 3.5 years, less than 10 animals have been euthanized. The ones that have either been ill beyond help, or they have been court ordered to be euthanized due to viciousness or bad behavior or that sort of thing, and especially dog bites. We've had several that we've had to keep in the shelter several months waiting for a court order. Hopkinsville has been good enough to allow us to bring our animals over there. We have not taken very many, and we do not take them there to be euthanized. We take them there. If we can't get them adopted, then they are taken there to be adopted. If they choose to euthanize them after a certain amount of time, we have no control over that, but we do not take them to be euthanized.
Okay. I feel the shelter has been managed in compliance with some laws and policies, but not all. For example, in 2016, there was a study of Kentucky County Animal Shelter conditions and the degree of compliance within the Kentucky Animal Shelter laws. Caldwell County was identified as number 23 out of 26 of the 90 shelters that were studied. These 26 shelters did not comply and fell below state standards. Changes that I would make in our shelter would be proper training of the ACO, number one. Qualified, trained volunteers. You cannot run a shelter without qualified volunteers. They're a huge help and a huge asset to the shelter. Consistent job duties for all shelter personnel. And I would integrate a good program with our local veterinarians to ensure the health of the animals. I feel when people come to adopt an animal, sometimes it may be their very first animal. They don't really know what they're looking for. We need qualified people in the shelter that can sit down with that person prior to them even going back and looking at the animals to find out what's going to be the fit for their family. Do they have children? Do they have a fenced-in yard? Are they looking for an indoor dog? Something that perhaps would be indoor-outdoor. All these things need to be taken in consideration. We need qualified people that can read the behavior of the animals in the shelter. Some that have behavioral problems. What can be done about that, if anything? We need proper dog trainers that can assist in training dogs. Health issues. There's a lot of animals in the shelter that have health problems. People need to know what they're adopting, what they're getting into when they adopt an animal. I think all these things need to be taken in consideration, and I look forward to doing everything I can to make our shelter a better place for the animals and for the citizens who are interested in adopting them. I feel I have more experience and skills to handle the shelter and make small, good changes that are going to really turn it around than all candidates combined. Thank you.
Well, it appears pretty clear that the animal control function is not being managed in compliance with the state laws. For example, we have many citizens who can, and indeed have, testified that they have contacted our animal control officer asking for him to come pick up stray dogs or animals and have been denied this service, sometimes quite rudely. There are too many instances of such reports to reasonably conclude that every citizen is lying. So it must conclude that the reports do indicate a serious problem in performance to the law. It is not clear whether the animal control function is being managed in compliance with Caldwell County fiscal court policies. That policy does not seem to be published for us to read and understand. County residents report that when they ask about policy, they may be told one thing or another, depending on whom they speak to at that moment. It is hard to believe that the animal control function is being done according to county policy, but maybe it is. This is a big problem. So the changes I would make, I did three things. First, we really have two functions: the animal control, that's picking up the strays, and the animal shelter, the temporary holding of such strays. It seems to make sense to divide these two functions back into two part-time jobs plus the volunteers. The animal control officer, or ACO, function is clearly a part-time, and it must be available pretty much 24/7. So it should be hourly, not salary. The ACO should log hours, mileage, etc., and be paid for actual time work, but should always be able to be tracked to a specific animal incident. Second, I would ensure that clear, sensible procedures exist for both the animal control and the animal shelter functions, and that these are published to the public on the internet as possible and necessary. Third, I would ensure that sensible metrics are kept and verified to track that both functions are being performed according to spec. Citizens should be able to see this information as well. By the way, the last two, publishing and maintaining sensible procedures and metrics, are something I would enact for all county functions. Thank you.
I certainly feel that our shelter is in compliance with policies and regulations. One reason I say that, I don't know how many people know, we're lucky to have Magistrate Albert Bennett that sits on the State Ag Commission's Animal Control Advisory Board that meets in Frankfurt, that's over the rules and regulations, the policy of animal control across the state. I appreciate the time and effort that Albert spends in Frankfurt for these meetings, and I feel sure that he would make us aware of any changes in regulations, and if we were not in compliance, he would let us know. As judge, I would actually ask Albert to serve as the advisor to the County Animal Control Committee for the next 4 years. We're blessed to have him here. As far as management, like all county positions, all employees will be expected to do their job. 8 hours pay for 8 hours work. Many people feel the shelter, operated when Eddie Tucker was animal control officer, was doing a better job in the city. The fact is, Abby was a full-time city employee and a part-time county animal control officer. The city participated in this position, and as a police officer, Abby could enforce city ordinances. The city has not participated since that time, and the county does not enforce it. The city and the county need to work hand in hand to complement each other. I have a great working relationship with city officials, solving fire department issues, city county park problems, and serving with their board. We have to work together to move forward, and animal control is just one example of where everyone working for the good of the people can make a difference. I've never been against volunteers when the issues or liabilities can be minimized. Volunteers are dedicated, and they'll do any jobs they're asked to do, usually without any praise, just the feeling that they've helped someone and that they made a difference. Thank you.
All right, question number 2. Thousands of dollars have been spent by the state government on studying and developing routes to the 641 bypass. Judge Executive Wade White has proposed another route which would require additional funding. Would you explain your views on the 641 bypass, what route you might support, or do you support another alternative? This has been a big issue ever since I've been in office. It has also been a big issue for the last 20 years or more. They haven't been able to come up with a route that's acceptable to everyone until this point, and I'm sure they will never come up with a route that's acceptable to everyone. It's hotly contested. It always has been. I understand that. People do not want their property taken for, whether it's farmland, whether it's their house, whatever it is. They don't want it taken. I understand that. But this is not, if they want this road to go through, and apparently they do because it's been on the books for all these years, then there's going to have to be a decision made. I don't have the answer to which is the best road. No one else apparently has the answer because this has gone on for so long. I've worked with the District 1 office in Paducah where this has been assigned because Crittenden and Lyon are both in District 1, so they have adopted this Caldwell County section of it also. They don't have the answer. I've also talked to Madisonville, in District 2 in Madisonville, to try to get resolutions to the problem. Several folks have gone from Crittenden, Lyon, and Caldwell have gone to Frankfort different times to talk to them about the best route since I've been in office. Apparently, we still don't have that best route. No agreements were reached. We were told that if the 3 judges could decide on that, then we would go with the route that they proposed. Well, after that meeting, Judge White and a couple of other people from Lyon County drew a new map. This new alternative route would cost between $500,000 and $1 million to study. It would take at least 6 to 9 to 12 months to complete. This is not a feasible alternative in my mind. I don't have the route that we need to pick. The state has the engineers. They've done all the studies. They know what the ecological and all the things that have to be done before they can build a road. They have found the 2 routes that they think are best. I'm not qualified as a highway engineer, and I don't have the knowledge to make such a suggestion. I feel that the state has studied these options, and they are the best ones to make the final decision. Ultimately, it's going to be Frankfort's call as to where 641 goes.
Okay. I feel that the 641 bypass is going to be a long and costly project. And I feel no matter which route you take, you're not going to make everyone happy because someone's going to sacrifice something, whether it's money, funding, land, etc. However, from what I have studied about it, I do support Wade White's alternate route, despite regarding the additional funding. I feel bringing the route through the West Park Industrial Park, it will allow Lyon, Caldwell, and surrounding areas to prosper industrially and agriculturally. I think the route will make West Park more enticing to market new industry because you'll have that route coming through that park. I think it will be a nice stop-off spot. I think it'll be easy accessible to the industrial park and may bring more revenue and business into that area. I think ultimately, as Ellen said, it would be the state's choice, but I do support Wade White's alternate route.
Most of the 641 issue affects Lyon County, not Caldwell, so it properly is under Judge Executive Wade White. However, it does affect some Caldwell County citizens. So I'll comment here. I support any sensible proposal that saves money, that has the least amount of negative impact on our citizens, and that solves the defined problems. I also strongly suggest that local people should be the ones most heavily involved in solving local problems. We don't always need the state to come in and solve the problems for us. The state tends to spend lots of time and even more money researching alternatives on anything, and in the end it settles on something. Too often state design solutions feel like they've been inflicted on us, not done for us. We, the local citizens, need to be a major part of the solution in any case like this. Judge Executive White has done, in my opinion, exactly what the leader of a county should be doing. Looked at the alternatives, consulted with the citizens, developed an acceptable plan for his county people. He is offering a county-led solution to the county's issues. The state should listen, and I will do the same.
I think I've attended a groundbreaking for 641 in Marion when I first went on the court almost 8 years ago. I've attended every meeting in Fredonia about 641 and several in Frankfort. My opinion is the same now as it was then. The state has spent a lot of money and expertise on selecting the best and most economical and the safest route. We should be driving on that new road right now. The state, to my knowledge, has never accepted as much input as this road has created. There's been far too many politics involved in this road. When progress is needed, we all have to sacrifice. Caldwell County suggested more than once to run 641 into 91 and make it either a 4-lane or a Super 2. And that made just about everybody happy but Lyon County, and yet Lyon County is not happy with any route that has come up. It's a true embarrassment to Crittenden County and the Fredonia area for the time and money that's been spent with this project, and it's still serving no one. I admire Judge Newcomb from Crittenden for the way he's tried to deal with it and endure an almost impossible situation. So my opinion is the state needs to pick the best route, as they've always done, and continue to do when it's a state road, and build this road. Many friendships, families, and lives have been upset or destroyed over this road. Please get it built.
As we all know, and that has been stated by Ellen and our other candidates tonight, the connector road of 641 has been beat to death, as Ellen said, for 20 years. There's been a lot of money spent, and to be a project that has not come to fruition is a problem already. And as they have stated, I have limited knowledge and I'm not an engineer, but I feel that the state should make that decision. We should work with them to make sure Caldwell County is taken care of, and I will stand up to make sure that Caldwell citizens get what they deserve out of it if elected. Thank you.
As Judge Executive, would you support the following? All county jobs be posted and advertised. Meeting minutes and financial information available online. Monthly nighttime forum for citizens to present ideas and concerns. Not all citizens can attend daytime meetings. Advertise board appointments so that interested citizens can apply. As Judge Executive, I would support all county jobs being posted. Advertised to ensure equal employment for all residents. I think all residents deserve an opportunity to apply for any county jobs available. All meeting minutes should be public access online at all times to ensure transparency of our community. I would definitely support nighttime meetings for those who work. I also support residents being able to voice their concerns, their opinions at all meetings. There would definitely be time set aside for people to voice their opinions and get answers. I think all board appointments should be advertised as well as county jobs. Again, equal opportunity for all of our residents. We need that.
The short answer is yes. But the longer one is this. I support transparency of operations. If you're not hiding anything, you should be able to explain it to the citizens. And will it? It is important, I think, to note that not all citizens must have access to information like meetings, financials, and so forth, and the ability to know what alternatives are being discussed. And any holder of public office will always encourage dialogue with citizens to express their thoughts. All of these issues should be addressed today. It doesn't take the internet or nighttime meetings to do any of this. However, why not take advantage of the wonderful tools we have like the internet? The internet is just a mechanism to provide access. It did not used to be there. It did not used to be so easily accessed by everyone. But now it is. So it makes sense to put information on the internet instead of requiring people to trek to the judge executive office to review paper copies. I've been planning for several months now how the county can use the power of the internet to improve operations. Facebook is one easy mechanism for quick day-to-day announcements. But in addition to that, the county can easily put up a website and grow it as an important body of resources for everyone. We can publish anything, minutes, financial information, procedures, and metrics. Why not experiment at different times and opportunities to allow citizens to share as a group? Evening meetings for people to express opinions is one mechanism to let people ask questions and to learn. Why not post jobs or advertise the need for interested citizens to work on volunteer boards to enact county solutions? We can provide information like structure of county departments, areas of responsibility, who to call for what, and more. Some of this is already available, but much more needs to be available. We can build facts, section that's frequently asked questions, that provide a question and answer. If someone asks a question and gets an answer, that can usually be formatted to general publication, so the next person with the same question can easily get the same information. And evening meetings for people to express opinions, ask questions, and to learn. I think people are asking for evening times because for some it would be more convenient. They are tired of asking questions and getting an answer, and later when nothing has been done, they ask again and are told no one ever said that. Bottom line is people need access to information and access to officials who are responsible to their concerns.
Under our current policy and procedure manual, dated August of 1990, when there's a job opening, county employees are to be notified and job postings are within the courthouse. Announcements may be made in the newspaper. The county has an open application policy, so anyone interested in employment may complete an application at any time, regardless if there's an opening. This policy and procedure manual must be updated for the protection of the taxpayers, the employees, and the county. As far as minutes and financial information being available offline, some part of that could be a question for our county attorney. The process of making those available, if we're legally allowed, would perhaps have to be a joint effort, depending on the logistics. The county clerk takes the minutes, the treasurer handles the financials, and both are busy folks. We try to operate with as few employees as possible because of salaries and fringe benefits. I certainly would be open to the next suggestion if we can make it work with minimal expense. I think any information or forms we can make available online just add efficiency to the courthouse. Meeting times and places are a tough topic. In years past, I think the court tried having one meeting a month in Fredonia, and as attendance dwindled, they moved back to the courthouse. Now, with many people having jobs with as many as 3 different shifts, what's the best time to catch it? Yes, I'm open to trying to form at night. Maybe frequency linked to the attendance. Certain months, once a month might be too often. My door is always open and suggestions promote improvement. If legal, pending county attorney approval, and I've already asked, I think advertising for board positions are a great idea. Boards are a pet peeve of mine. Don't ask to serve if you want to attend meetings. Nothing is more frustrating than giving your time off to a committee or a board and then somebody not showing up and you can't have a meeting because you don't have a quorum. Boards or committees need fair and interested members, and everyone should be represented. If it's true, I don't like the fact that the Senior Citizen Center doesn't have part of the people using that facility filling a seat on the board or committee. Thank
you. Bill says, I would definitely support posting and advertising all county jobs. How else can you possibly get better candidates for positions? In business, that is mandatory. I do not object to scrutinizing applicants by the interview process. As in business, where everything is reported to superiors, a county should be responsible for reporting to its employers, the taxpayers, through the posting of minutes and financial information, and posting online would be a thorough way for the judge executive to accomplish that as is possible. My feeling for night meetings of the fiscal court is something that I would be interested in doing on a monthly basis if necessary until some such time as it is deemed useless by lack of participation by the citizens who could but do not attend. If there is an issue that is of particular interest that citizens make known in advance, then I would be happy to hold evening sessions to accommodate the need. Board appointments, like jobs, should also be advertised instead of waiting on chairs of committees and elected officials to find such members. Those appointments should not be rewards for political favors, but awarded to the best qualified.
To my knowledge, all county jobs have never been posted or advertised. Each elected official has the right and the ability to hire as they see fit, as the sheriff, the jailer, the county clerk, the coroner, the county attorney, and etc. within their departments and their budgets. Some openings are advertised and filled by qualified applicants. Others are transferred to positions within the departments. And again, all hiring is not done by the judge or the fiscal court. Minutes and financial reports are available and may be requested from the judge's office. At this time, we do not have the manpower or the capability to post everything to the website that we have. And I personally do not have the time or inclination to post such items to social media. Everyone is not on social media. As for monthly night meetings, which would you prefer? What time is best? Where would the citizens like to see it held? What do they need to discuss? Would this be an open-ended meeting? Who would be there from the courthouse? I tried open meetings 3 times in the first year, or forums. People didn't show up unless they had a specific agenda. The first meeting had about 30 people, the second about 10, and the third even less. I can see open meetings 2 or 3 times a year if there is something that really needs to be discussed and if there is a written agenda. As for boards, boards are independent of the fiscal court other than appointments. If a board such as the County Water Department, or Water Board, the Library Board, or the Extension Council wants to advertise for board positions, that would be their choice. Usually they present to us 2 names, and then the fiscal court votes on the person that they would like to put in that. But they are recommendations, both are recommendations from the board and not from the court. So if the fiscal court does not choose to select one of those names, then we would go back and we would ask for more names until we get the qualified person. It's not the responsibility or the requirement of the court to place individuals on boards that are not overseen by the court.
What do you consider the most valuable asset of Caldwell County, and how do you plan to utilize this asset in the future to benefit all citizens of Caldwell County? I think Princeton offers a number of great assets. Most importantly, our historical characteristics. Following Let's Paint the Town, the downtown revitalization.
No other questions?
Oh, okay. Then we'll skip that one. I think
it's Rick's time to ask a question before we
Yes.
further.
Oh, okay.
It is Rick.
It's Rick's time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so my question is, you drive on the county roads while campaigning, you have witnessed the conditions of the roads. What ideas can you offer to repair or improve the roads? Let me start out by saying that all counties suffer from the problem with the roads. The reality is that the state is facing a significant and growing state funding shortfall, which finds roads in western Kentucky and Caldwell County crumbling. It all goes back to funding for infrastructure, which mostly comes from gasoline tax. Back several years ago, I'm sure all of you remember, gas prices were close to $5, and they come down to about $2.75 or less now per gallon. The tax went down also as well. When it went down, the transportation department lost several $100 million. That money trickles down to each county, and now we don't get nearly enough money from the state to fix all our almost 350 miles of Caldwell County roads. So our ability to do things continues to decrease. Potholes, broken pavement, deterioration of bridge decks, and cracks in the road make for a bumpy ride. I'm a promoter of buying local, and I'm sure that buying gas in other counties doesn't affect the dollars received from the state, but when shopping out of state and buying gas in that state, it does. So to your question is, what idea can I offer? To work with the transportation cabinet for more funding, and communicate with our county magistrates and our road superintendent to determine how and where to make repairs to keep our roads in good condition and safe for everyone with the funding available.
Question 4 for me. There have been complaints about Freedom Waste Services. You were a magistrate when the contract was signed. It is coming up for renewal. What are your thoughts on trash pickup in Caldwell County? I was serving when the trash contract was bid 4 years ago. And if memory serves me right, the next closest bid to Freedom Waste was double their rate. I think at the time we had much discussion and ended up feeling that we were saving the taxpayers our money by accepting this contract. It's not a mandatory service in the county. It's your choice if you want to contract for trash pickup. The city of Princeton has a mandatory charge and you have to pay. In reality, this service probably wouldn't be provided in the county if Freedom Waste didn't have the mandatory city contract. I went years without having any problem on my trash other than when we'd have a heavy snowstorm and maybe the mail would be running and my trash would be picked up and I didn't worry about calling them at that time. I moved in 2014 and last year my trash was missed one time and I called and probably within 15 minutes they came out and picked it up. Now this year the trash has been missed twice. One time they were still in the area, my wife called them and they came back and picked it up. The next time they moved on a little, but we still caught up with them and they came back. You know, this is a business, employees change and routes change. But that being said, they have to meet their obligations of the contract. And since it's not mandatory, if you choose not to use them, then you certainly can drop that service. The first year of this contract, the county received a fair amount of franchise fees. That figure has lowered continually, and perhaps they have fewer customers. We certainly need to explore all options, and when the renewal or bid process comes up next year, we need to see what's best for the county. And also, Freedom Waste must meet any or all state and federal regulations that are required for their business.
Question 4 is, from an economic standpoint, in the next 4 years, is it more important to attract new industries or protect what we have? He states, that is a tricky question because it is one that needs to be handled diplomatically and carefully. You never want to lose any of the industries you have, but it's magnanimous to add new industry to employ our citizens and build a tax base in order to keep taxes in check and retain the services those taxes provide. One has to be aware of the opportunities for growth within current industry as well as adding more industry for work opportunities for our people. We need good paying jobs with equal pay for equal work for women, more daycare for infants, and particularly as Princeton First Baptist Church is the only facility locally that accepts newborns, so parents feel comfortable leaving their children to work. It has been proved that when workers have good daycare for their children, productivity improves and profits go up. Nobody wants to raise taxes, but if it becomes a county without a well-trained workforce and industry for that workforce to earn a living, thus the workers leave the area, raising taxes becomes the only alternative to losing those services. Whoever is leading the county, and in this case the judge executive, takes the fall for the loss of services or workforce leaving. In either case, it is important to add industry and businesses, including restaurants, staying on the cutting edge of what technology is offering and seeking those industry employers, making sure they know what we have to offer is of the utmost importance. Those industries have to know that our schools are top-notch. We have restaurants, medical facilities, and doctors, an airport to accommodate their travel, and things such as parks, entertainment, and security to encourage their coming to Caldwell County. We need to find areas where our senior citizens are given opportunity to volunteer, as well as things like having pool tables for their use at the senior center and other things for them to be involved in, as well as other citizens such as the Summerfest provided by HR Ministries and Pennington Fest that brings in tourists to bolster our economy. Young people need places to go. I would like to see a Christian theme park located here for not only tourists traveling the NAFTA I-69 route, but that would offer jobs and places for our citizens to go. It would be of interest in drawing tourists if we could perhaps erect a large cross easily viewed from I-69 as is seen in other parts of the country, and even one as close as Paducah near the Heartland Center. It is my desire to keep Jesus Christ our Savior a vital part of my administration. Thank you for asking me to attend, but I could not change my schedule at work and I'm unable to be present.
All right, my question deals with what has occurred during this term of office and what I would like to see in the future if I am blessed enough to be elected again. I feel that many of my goals for this term have been accomplished. Some things have been tried and either changed or discarded. But the most important goals that I set for myself in the county have been achieved. First, availability. I have made myself available to the citizens of our county. I feel that they are the ones that put me in office, and they are the ones I always need to be responsive to. Financial responsibility. Our county is in better fiscal shape now than it was 4 years ago. We were encumbered with debts that have been refinanced at a lower rate of interest at local institutions, thus offering the county a substantial savings over the life of the loans and keeping our funds in the county. We were able to rescue the ambulance service in 2015 and take over the financial responsibilities and operations. In 2016, we entered into a contract with ComCare to take over the operation of the ambulance service with great success. We have already purchased 2 new ambulances with another expected in June. This will give us a reliable ambulance fleet. We were able to pay off the hospital bonds early and take off the tax of our citizens 2 years earlier than was expected. Caldwell County Fiscal Court has applied for and received transportation funding beyond our regular funds to repair and repave in areas of dire need of the county. In the amount of over $500,000 just for the extra funds, such as discretionary. As we speak, we are waiting for approximately $250,000 in additional discretionary funds that we can use on roads that have been damaged during the winter. These roads were reviewed by the state, and every one of them, they were scored on the basis of 1 to 10, with 1 being the highest, 10 being the lowest, and all of them scored 8, 9, or 10. So we are waiting for the governor's signature on those right now. The city-county park was repaired, and a pool is now in use. The county has achieved designation as a work-ready community, which can help bring in more economic development. And we have hired a new economic development director for the Crittenden, Lyon, and Caldwell Lake Barkley partnership. One of the proudest achievements, I think, is the near completion of the new home at Bright Life Farms. This house has 10 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms. It will be a home for 8 new residents, and all has been done with CDBG grants and awarded by the federal government, and the hard work of many volunteers. And if you haven't had an opportunity to see this new house at Bright Life Farms, you need to take a drive out there and look at it. It's going to be really amazing. Okay?
Okay, what do you consider your most valuable asset of Caldwell County, and how do you plan to utilize this asset in the future to benefit all citizens of Caldwell County? I feel, number one, our small town appeal. I think Princeton offers a number of great assets, most importantly, our historical characteristics. Following the Let's Paint the Town project, the downtown revitalization enabled us unlimited possibilities as far as being a renowned location for tourism, festivities, artistry, and outdoor recreation, as with the Black Patch Festival that we have. I do feel an asset to our community would be to propose a recreational complex or community complex. I think we need a spot for people to get out with your children after work, be able to go let the kids play, have some basketball courts. I do feel that this could be a great asset to our community as far as bringing in revenue. If we had a pavilion where people could rent out for birthday parties, wedding receptions, just a place to get out and have some outdoor activity. Take the dog for a walk. This would be more or less a public park, somewhere that we could have car shows on Friday night with a small fee to enter your vehicle. There's lots of things that people want, and they go to other communities to be able to reap the benefits of. We need to keep that in our own community. And I think within a year's time, you would see the revenue generated from an area like this where we could have a good spot for our own residents to be able to enjoy. Thank you.
All right. I'll be asking the first question, and Mr. Gates, and I'll be alternating. These are the questions that were submitted through what you brought. So these are amended, and again, just have no knowledge of these questions in advance. The first question is to your campaign has proclaimed the number of hours of training that you have. This voter wants to know who pays for the training and what benefit has the citizens realized from their training.
Well, the county pays for the training. The training is probably subsidized some by the state, but certainly what benefit, most of the time during any training sessions, you're able to network with officials from other counties, and they're facing issues that we face. If they've already faced them, or they're going to face them. And you get to network and find a lot of answers that maybe you consider trying, or you want to try, and you have an idea about whether it's going to work or not. Also, you're able to work with a lot of state officials and able to talk about funding and the things that you really need in your county. I said I had more trained hires than everybody in the court or all of these folks combined. I do, and I feel if we went back through the financials, I could probably show you that there's been enough discretionary funds in 1 year to more than cover the training expense for the 8 years or almost 8 years that I've been on the court. So I would always suggest, whether I was on the court or not, that you encourage everyone to attend every training session that they have an opportunity to attend. You'll still spend a lot of time reading through the Kentucky revised statutes about some of the laws, but that's where you learn a lot. People do not understand how much our hands are tied to things that we can do. You think, well, here's a bad road that needs to be fixed. The state will come and inspect that road and decide, even though it's our county road, whether we can spend that money to fix that road. And there has to be oversight. But certainly you're going to learn basically the rules and regulations about fiscal court and the county government operates by that training. So I would encourage anybody that's seeking office to take that training, and certainly anybody that's serving office to take that training. Thank you.
Susan, this is the question. Billy, and I understand that Mr. Carrington is going to prepare a response and have it available.
Be on there at 9 o'clock Monday morning.
9 o'clock Monday morning, but this is the question, so everyone knows what's going to be asked.
All right.
Okay, and we'll get you a copy of it.
All right. Thank you.
This voter sent in a question, and it is: you have proposed a downtown parking garage and a Christian theme park. The voter wants to know how you plan on paying for them without raising taxes, and what economic benefit either of them would be to citizens of Caldwell County. Shouldn't you be more concerned with factories that pay a decent wage?
Okay, question number 3 is for Judge Dunn. There are those in the community that have criticized you for being out of office. They also look at the number of trips you have made and question what benefits the citizens of Caldwell County receive from those trips. How do you answer their concerns?
Thank you for that question, because this is something I would like to address. I have been to several out-of-town trainings, such as Philip. Matter of fact, Philip and I have attended almost all the same trainings out of town that are on the state level. I have also been privileged to be appointed to the executive board of the PAD office in Hopkinsville, and the other trips I have taken have been with the PAD. I have been able to go to several different places at their expense, not the county's expense, to attend meetings, trainings, workshops, to see what other states are doing as well as other counties when we go to the state meetings. These are not paid for by the county in any way, the ones that are the PAD office, that are going with the PAD office. And I have been asked about a trip I took to Alaska, and I want to address it right here. Yes, I did. It was a PAD trip. PAD paid for the training. My husband and I went. We took an extra week. The only vacation that we have taken in 4 years, we took an extra week, and we paid every penny of expense for that trip. We did not charge the PAD office. We did not charge the county office, but the county or the state, any monies for that trip. I think everyone should have a vacation when they would like. And I just tagged this on. We took the vacation the first week. We did the trainings and the meeting the last 5 days of the trip. I appreciate the opportunities to be able to go to these places and do these things. I have been with the PAD office to Washington, D.C. 3 times, and because of those, we have gotten several dollars in discretionary and emergency monies for the county. Case in point, we had been working on trying to get Red Hill Road repaired after the bridge collapsed and the lady was killed in 16, and then it collapsed again last year, and it was used as an emergency trip. The court had been working on this. Philip had been working on it. I'd been working on it, and different magistrates had been working on it. But because of that trip to Washington, D.C., and being able to sit down with the proper people, that money was awarded. So I have no problem disclosing anything about the trainings that I've been to.
Rick, this is your question. Do you know what the constitutional duties are of the Judge Executive's office? If so, can you explain which one is the most important to you other than preparing the budget?
Well, that's a good question. No, I don't know all of those. I will be happy to look them up and get back with you and have credit for them.
The final question this evening for Candidate Turner before the closing comments will be, on your webpage, you show a picture of a sidewalk right outside this building, and you're concerned about the need to correct problems at that location. A farmer was traveling on the road that was falling apart when he sent this question. Why should he vote for you when you don't seem to be clear on what are county issues and what are city issues? How do you reply to this question?
I'm not quite understanding what you're talking about as far as the wall.
I'm sorry, it's the intersection down here. I think that Hopkinsville is straight, this intersection here.
What is on your website showing this sidewalk right out here in the state road? His concern was that you're talking about building a handicap ramp or something there. He's concerned about whether you can distinguish between county issues and city issues.
Yes, I think that as far as whether it's county or city issues, I can just say this. If I am elected Judge Executive, I will be in tune with any issues as far as whether they concern city or county. If there is a road issue in the county, I will take it upon myself to be the first to go out with the road department, check out the issue, get with the proper people, go through the proper channels to get it fixed. I feel that the county issues are just as important as any city issues, and I would be glad to take the initiative to go out and see what matters need to be done and what corrections need to be made and get with the proper people to fix them.
Again, I want to thank everyone for attending this. A lot of times it's hard to get a crowd to these forums. You certainly would rather have folks that are undecided, and I hope a lot of you all are. I hope this has helped you. Many times it's people that have already made up their mind, their friends and family, and I think this is a good diverse crowd, and I appreciate you taking Saturday night to come. I appreciate Brock and Roy Jean and Jeff and Wayne and Cody for the time that they put in on it. I'd like to thank my family, my wife, my daughter, my granddaughter, my son, daughter-in-law, my grandkids in Lexington. You know, when you do community service, whether it's paid or not, you sacrifice a lot with the family. I was on the fire department for many years, the rescue squad and ambulance service, and when my kids were growing up, I've left the family at a restaurant, I've left them on the side of the road, I've left them at church. We were headed to the lake with the boat one day, and it was left parked in the median, and I rode one ambulance to the hospital. My wife was an EMT, and she rode the other one, and the kids were just left for somebody to take and get back to town sometimes. So they certainly sacrifice. My son and daughter-in-law and grandkids are in Florida. We're on our way home right now from Disney World, and we were invited for that trip. They understand that I didn't need to make that. I need to be here, and I appreciate that they do. But folks don't realize, as I say, whether it's paid or not, you sacrifice a lot of time when you give to the community. I've always wanted to give back to the community. This is not a job that I have to have. It's a job I want to have. I want my daughter and my granddaughter that live here in this county to have a place that they can live and be proud of. As long as they want to live here, and I hope that's the rest of their life. But we have to move forward. We have to do whatever is required to build our economy, to grow our economy. We have to use our funds wisely. County government is about a $7 million business, and you better be looking at somebody that has a business experience to manage that. It makes a big difference when you've been in business for yourself and you're the guy that washes the windows and sweeps the floor, but you're also the person that is responsible to make the payroll and buy the inventory and sell it at a profit, and then at the close of the day try to make ends meet. You know, you can't just call headquarters and say, send some more money, I'm out, I need some more. You might go to the bank if they're nice enough to loan it to you, but they're going to charge you a big interest rate. So, you know, the county government's that way. We have to make it work. And I'm willing to do it. Thank you.
Mike Phillip, I want to thank you, Jay, and Brock for having us for us tonight. I don't really have a whole lot to say at this point, but other than it would be an honor and a privilege for me to serve all the citizens of this county as the next judge executive. And if some of my family was still here, they'd say the same thing. Thank you so much.
I agree. I would like to thank everyone for coming out. I would like everybody to know that I wasn't born and raised in Caldwell County. However, I've been here for over 10 years. I do not have any family here. However, all the people that I have met, acquaintances, they're like family to me. They have accepted me into the community. I love living here. I want to serve the community. I deal with the community a lot on a daily basis. And I've got to know a lot of people. I look forward to getting to know more people. I am a worker and a people person, and I look forward to serving you as judge executive. I would always have an open door policy, and I would be accessible to each and every one of you at all times. And I just want to thank you for this opportunity and let you know that I work very hard for you. Thank you.
Well, I want the opportunity to continue with the growth that we've seen in the last 4 years. Our next budget is looking to be over $7.5 million. We're looking at challenges with increases in retirement rates and insurance rates, rising prices for materials and supplies, etc. I plan to keep Caldwell County on a strong, sound financial footing. I have, as I said earlier, been a citizen of Caldwell County for all my life, practically. We did, as a child, my dad was construction and we moved around. I've lived in several different cities, but only for a year at a time or whatever. We always came back to Caldwell County. When we came back, in November of 1964, we stayed, or 65, we stayed. We have not left this county since then. I love this county. I love the opportunities that we have here, and I love the people of Caldwell County. I appreciate them and want to do the best for them. We've had a great fiscal court this past 4 years. We've gotten along. We've managed to get a lot done. And I thank the members of the fiscal court for that, because if it was not unified, it would have been a mess. It takes everybody to working together to accomplish great things. And I think that this fiscal court has done that. And I want to see a continuation, and I would like to be there to do that. If you ever have any questions of me, feel free to call. This is my home. I plan for this to be my home for the rest of my days. And I just want to be a volunteer. I want to be a part of the community. I've been a volunteer in many, many areas. I've worked for a lot of different places. I'm a retired teacher. I'm retired from the American Cancer Society. Many of the things I've done are for public service. I have a business downtown. We've been in business for 18 years, and I want to thank Sue Herndon for taking over when I became judge. I haven't worked a single day in that office since I've been judge, and she has done it all on her shoulders, and Sam and I are eternally grateful to her for that. And we appreciate what the community has done for us through our business and through the confidence you've placed in me to be your judge executive for the last 4 years. And I ask that you give me that responsibility again. I thank you.
I feel inadequate to speak on Bill's behalf because he couldn't be here tonight. I do want you all to understand that he is a people person. His family grew up here on both sides. They were dairy farmers, and he attended our local public schools. He has been away. He came back. I think it was 2008, was here for the ice storm. He worked hand in hand with the American Red Cross. He's traveled and managed a lot. He's a people person, but most of all, he's a man of faith. And if you don't know Bill, I just want to say that he is a man of faith. He will put prayer into everything, and he will have an open door policy. I know how much he loves his mother, his sister, and other people, and he'll never close the door or not take time to sit down and talk with you about anything. And until you can hear him say it himself, I'm very inadequate. But thank you all for having this and allowing me to fill in for him tonight.
Can we give the candidates a round of applause? I want to thank each of you for the opportunity and coming and just sharing your message and telling us what you want to do and sharing your heart and your passion. If you've never run a campaign, what they're doing is it's pretty tough, and we want to thank you for that. Thank you for everyone who showed up to be a part of this. Happy. For the candidates that are in the audience, I encourage you to talk with the voters that are here. I mean, ask questions, continue on, even though our question and our part has come to an end, continue on. And like I said, thank you. We'll do it again.